Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa with another Straight Up Solo. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at Kanban EV. All right. Specifically from the solo perspective, I'm going to spend a lot of time focusing on how the solo play works and how it feels. Okay. But this is not going to be an exhaustive rules playthrough. As far as the solo is even concerned, I'm just going to show you the flow. I wanted to get you an understanding of how it feels so that you can decide, is this something I like, and do I want to put in the work and the effort to learn this game, or do I want to pass? So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, folks, please remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it very much makes me happy. So I'm going to be playing, I'm going to be showing you some examples here of the solo game, and I'm not going to go through this. This game has heavily rule-based procedures, okay? And I'm not going to go through those because there are a lot of good videos out there that explain them. I'm just going to try to focus on how the solo game plays to see if it's something that you would like to do, knowing this is a Lacerda game, knowing that you're going to have to learn this game, and there's a lot of nuts and bolts to figure out. So I'm kind of midway through maybe the first, let's just say, week of the game. And so I'm going to kind of show you how the solo works. And I think the whole solo is actually pretty clever and works fairly well once you know all the ins and outs of actually how to take the turns. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look just like you would in a normal game on this work track area to see who's taking the first turn, top to bottom. So our white player here, Mr. Turtsy, if that's how you say it, I apologize. I should know how exactly I say it. He does such great solo works. But anyway, Mr. T over here, he is going to take the first solo worker or workstation selection action. So what you do is you flip over one of these cards, and then it says top or bottom card. Okay, the middle doesn't count as either of those. So in this case, it shows the bottom. So I take the bottom card, I put it on his side of the player board, and I apologize for being on a small table today, kind of relegated to this. Just lots going on. So I put it on his side here, and he's going to go to the administration action. So what he's going to do is he's going to stand up, and he's going to go to the top space in the administration action as long as it's empty. If that space was full, he would not go to the bottom space. That's just the rules. He always goes to the top space. But he would go to the next available workstation, which in this case would wrap around the board, come all the way back over here, and he would take that action. Okay? So that was where he is going to play. Now we go down. Sandra is next. Sandra is going to go to that first available space, which in this case is her desk. Okay? Then we've got Mr. Lacerda himself. He is going to take another card. He's going to flip that card, figure out top or bottom. In this case, it's top. So he's going to put his card over there, and it says administration. Well, the administration's all full, so he can't go to that spot. So he, again, is like I said, he's going to wrap around, go to the top, end up here. Okay? And then finally, it's my turn. I'm the only guy laying down on the job here to figure out where I'm going to go this whole game round action. And the rules in the solo is that I can go anywhere that's open, except you can't stay in the same spot, and you can never go to the same place that Sandra is. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and choose, let's see. So I've got, I need some parts. I'm also going to have a problem. And my problem is I'm going to have a tough time not getting fired at the end of this week, since you see I'm already at 0. So instead, I actually am going to go up here because I'm going to try to get a couple of points to not get fired. And we'll see how that goes. Okay? All right. So that was just the selection action. Now, this card stays here. There's a deck of cards that tell you, what to do in your turn over there, and then you've got these choice cards over here. So now we execute the turns in worker location again, top to bottom. So I'm going to do my turn first. So I take my turn, and basically this is where I'm not going to get into it because there's just so much going on. But I've got 2 actions to take here, plus if I had extra shifts, which I do, I could overspend and get some more. So I'm going to just do an action here. I'm going to take some training for 1 action, and then for my second action, I'm going to buy a car, And actually, is that what I'm going to do? I'm going to do, yeah, darn, that's unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to buy a car, and the way I do that is I have to discard a design that matches one of the cars that's out there. And so I'm going to discard this to the bottom of the central stack here. I hope it doesn't go out of the game. I think it goes to the bottom of the central stack. I'll find out. I'm sure someone can help me out if I did it wrong. And I choose any of these cars. I can choose for one turn, for one shift, I can choose the car right behind the pace car. For second and third, I can go backwards, and I can go even 3 to go the very back one. But I'm fine with this. So I'm going to choose this car. I'm going to park this car in my garage. Now, it doesn't matter which garage I park in, but when I do, I will take a bonus, and then I will be done. And because we're about to do some scoring for some meetings, I'm going to park it here. I'm going to flip this over, showing that I've taken that action. I get a white neutral speech bubble, which I spend immediately, and put one of these there so that I can do some extra scoring. And then, after my turn is done, the pace car advances, and since he advances onto this spot right here, I'm going to have a meeting at the end of the year. All right, now we go to the AI, Mr. Mr. Lacerda. He's going to take his first action. So I come over here to see what he's going to do, and it tells me, and by the way, even though my card shows this is, administration action, that's one thing, and I understand why they don't do it, but this card no longer matches where he is. I have to take the action where he is. So I cannot follow the little pictorial description of what I'm supposed to be doing. I've got to follow the verbiage here, which is fine. So it says here he's going to upgrade the design, all right, from here. So he's going to take this. He automatically flips it over, and it's the drivetrain on the blue car. Okay, so that has not been upgraded yet. So we take out the drivetrain. We put it on the blue car. He's always going to cover the ones with the most points first. He moves that over here, and then I lose 4 points, which is bad news. So the thing about this game is the 2 solo players never gain points. They just take away from yours. And if you finish the end of a week or the end of a meeting with 0 or less points, you get fired and you lose the game. So you can see I'm already in the doghouse here. That did not need that to happen. So he went and did that, upgraded. Oh, and he also is supposed to train. And if he's proficient, he does it again, which is not cool. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. He trains over here. All right, and so now he's going to, we upgraded design. We did it from the shared stack, which is right here. Then we advanced the pace car, the part value. We did that. We take the car behind the pace car, which in this case is this blue one. So he's going to get that for end game scoring. And this car advances 1 step further. And then he upgrades an additional design, just what I don't need. And even worse, he upgrades another a drivetrain, which is going to be 5 minus points. So that's really punitive for me. 5 more minus points, and he's going to put it on the red car, and so it's going to be right there. He covers any of the bonus tiles. So that really, really stings. Okay, and then we've got Mr. Terzi over here, Mr. T. He is going to take the administration action. In this case, it actually tells you what you do. You are going to, first of all, anytime the AI takes an action, they're going to train in that spot. And then with the administration action, you train where Sandra is. Well, it just happens she's also in administration, so she trains. And now Sandra is at the spot where we are going to get the full experience of meetings and such, okay? And I'm not going to go through this because I wanted you just to see the solo. But basically what's going to happen is we're going to do the end of week scoring. I'm going to advance this, and then we're going to do the whole meeting thing. We're going to then go through that and see how the AI reacts. Now, the AI has some special rules on how they do things. So I'm going to pause the video. We'll take a rules refresher on that, and then I'll go ahead and execute it. But before I do, I just changed my mind. I'm going to show you this. But let me go ahead and do this. So first what happens is here is that I'm going to score points for every car that I have in my garage, and the points are going to be 1 point times the number of upgrades that are on the car, okay? And then I'm going to be able to score points with any of the upgrades that match, okay? So that's kind of what's going to happen here, if I read that right. And again, you know, it's tough. You've got to, there's a lot of things going on. So here it says, end of week. When Sandra performs her departmental task in administration, the week comes to an end. All players score as follows. For each car in your garage, you gain 1 point for each upgrade that has been made to that model by all players. So like I said, over here, and I have a blue car, so it's been upgraded once. So I'm going to get 1 times that, and then 1 point for each tested design you have of that model, okay? I don't have any tested designs of that model. Also, which I should have done, is that I have to figure out if she is going to rate me, and she is. So this rating, by the way, because that's what I need to do first, is I have to be certified in 2 or more departments. Sorry. I have to be certified in at least 3 departments. If not, I'm going to lose some points. And in this case, I'm not. I'm only certified in 1 department, which I forgot earlier to move this up. So I'll move that up anyway, get the 3 points now. It's not going to matter. But I'm certified in only 1 department, which means I'm going to have to pay a penalty. My penalty is minus 1 point. And then also 5 minus the number of shifts that I have banked. So 1 plus 5 minus 3. I'm sorry, minus 2. So I end up losing 4 points. Okay, so that's 4 more points. Bad news for me. All right, and again, now I do this scoring. And because I have a car times the number of upgrades that have been done to it, we have 1. I get 1 point for my car here. And then if I had tested designs, which I don't in that color, I have a tested design in black and in red, I would then get more points. Okay, so that is done. Now the problem is, the week is done. So I don't even think I get to the meeting. I think I get fired right there. But let's make sure of that. So I'm going to take a quick look at the rules and be clear, but I'm pretty sure I just got fired. This game is not as easy as you'd like it to believe, or like it to be, and that's okay. So it says here, okay, basically, fired. If after any end of week scoring, a meeting or final scoring, you are at or below 0, you are fired. You lose the game immediately. If this does not happen on any of these occasions, you win. You may you may go on to discover your final rank, record your final score, and keep track of your achievements. Well, folks, you just saw me get fired, so I didn't even get to the meeting. But what happens in the meeting is that there are rules that govern how the solo player will put their different neutral tokens and other things on here to kind of block you into scoring. And I have to get through that too, but I'll give you a little demo. Just let's pretend I didn't get fired. So let's see what we got there. One thing I should have done that would also make it even worse for me is that in the end of the week scoring, they score 2 points for every upgraded design they have. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I have to go back 10 more points. Whoops, drop that. And so that would put me at 81. So there's no possible way. I have to learn how to play this game much better. But then, okay, and then these go back into the central stack, which is over here, and then can be, worked through again. All right, so I missed that from the weekly scoring part of it, the end of week scoring. Okay, so to show the way that the AI does the meetings, you do the meetings in order of your training. So you're going to go right to left. And basically what happens is they don't interact with any of your goals that you play, and they're going to use a specific number of neutral things to score and block, neutral speech tokens. The first meeting, he gets 1. The second meeting, he gets 2 and 3 and 4. He always gets 3, okay? And what's going to happen is, so the first thing that you do is you look on here and you see from left to right which one is the most points, and he's going to block it. So he's going to block this number 4 right there, get 4 points. and then you are going to go down again 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then it would come to me, and I would figure out what I want to do, and I have 2 places I can score. So, like anything, I have to play one of my goals down. I also need to do that at some point, but I also can score on these. And let's just say for a good measure, I'm going to play this goal down right here, so I can score up to twice if I had 2 of these. Well, I only have 1, so I'm just going to put it right here. I know it's a little cramped. So here I have to put on the 1 space. I could put on the 2 space to just block it, but I only can score once. So it doesn't matter. They're not interacting with me. But then I get my 4 points back, right? So that puts me back to 81. And then it comes to Mr. T over here, and he would go ahead and he would put it down from right to left on the. So he basically will still put it on the top space, but he will only score the stuff once. So he just gets 2 points there. And then you go forward with that. And I want to make sure. See, he picks the card, places the speech token from right to left, starting with the rightmost card, scores if he had a single one. Yeah. So he's going to just they're going to start. The black player starts over here, the white player starts over there, and they just block and they kind of close in on you. So he would score 2 points, and I'd go back 2. And then it would start again, but he is out of speech tokens, so that's it. So then it would come back to me. I'd have to score something, and maybe I would decide to score, I don't know. I could decide 2, those are parts. Let's see. I could go this. So I've got 2 of these. I got 2 extra shifts right now. So I could do that. That would give me 4 more points, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then white scores again. So he would take the top one on this card here and score 2 points. All right, I go back down. And then he would finally take this one and score 3 points. And then I would doubly lose again because I would be done. I would have passed, and that would be the end of this, this meeting spot. And we would also, of course, have that one down too. So the game ends in the same way as the multiplayer unless you get fired early. And if you do see that it does end or you make it to the end, it does have a way to rank your performance, which I think is cool. And you can kind of get a category of where you stand. And then if you needed it, there is a way to increase the difficulty of the solo player. But as you can see, I certainly did not need any help from that standpoint. All right, so let me go back up top and tell you what I think about this solo game, the solo mode specifically. All right, and so that was a full turn plus the end of week scoring in the meetings, even though I got clobbered, to give you a feel of how the AI works. So here's some positives. Number 1, the AI is quite competitive. There is no doubt about that. Plus, there are 2 of them, which means that you are going to feel like you're playing a full game. I mean, absolutely like you're playing a full game. There's a lot of interaction. It's definitely, an experience where you're getting the full feel of this game through the AI. The AI's turns are not difficult to execute once you understand all the steps they take. So that is a big situation that you have to understand. Just like any other VTEL Lacerda game, heavily procedural, okay? And the AI isn't so bad, but it is also heavily procedural. Sorry, the camera's slipping there. In how you have to take the turns, okay? So it's like they do this, they do this, they do this. All right, so the good news is that there's really no heavy decision tree for them to do that. That is my favorite thing about this. In this case, it's not if this, then that, if this, then that. It's basically, look, you got the situation, you know where you're going, you take these 3 things, you move on. And so in that case, the game moves pretty quickly with the AI and how it executes things. And I think that's fantastic, especially since this game is so complex. From another standpoint that's good is that I think this game, you could play it solo and be very satisfied with it the entire time without any issues. I had no problems on the couple of plays I've had, and it's only been 2. But I had no problems feeling like this could be a fully solo experience, giving you everything you want and all the challenges of, solving this massive logistical puzzle that is this game. Okay, so some things that may be a turnoff for people. Just like anything else, with Lacerda games, you have a lot of rules to learn. So this is a heavy game. It's not. It's a lot. There's a very broad situation here. There's not a lot of if-then kind of situations, but just like any of his other games, it's heavy. It's a heavy deal. It's a hard learn because there's so much to put in your brain before you can play. And that first game is going to be brutal. It's a lot of, okay, how do I do this action again? How do I do this? And I watched a video and I did all that stuff. And I even watched a little bit of a solo video there also out in the on Board Game Geek because I needed to get the feel for how this was going to happen. Because even though the rules are written pretty well, it's just you got to see it. And so this is going to require a serious learning curve. I think it's worth the effort you're going to put in. I do. And that's why I would say for those hardcore solo gamers out there, this is going to be worth your while. Also, even though it is quote-unquote a beat your own score, the categories that you have are cool because you can try to shoot for basically a higher situation. And it's not just I get a high points, there it is. It's also like you got to get this amount of training, you got to do this many cars, you got to do this many upgrades. And so there's certainly things to work for. Lots of legs when it comes to that. And also, you got to work to not get fired, which, of course, you saw me get fired big time in that first bit of the game. So there's a lot going on there. Also, you do somewhat have to learn the steps of the AI that's a little different than what you do it. So when you take this action, you do these things. When they take the action, they do a different set of things similar. It's not as bad as some games I've played where it's like a completely different feel on that same kind of action for the AI. But it's just another thing. It's, you got to memorize, you got to refer to the player aid, which is what you're going to be doing a lot of. And so that's the situation. I really like it. I'm going to enjoy this in a solo mode for a while. I got to figure out how to not to get fired. But it's a recommendation for those who like heavy solo experiences, but ones that are fairly smooth with not that many if this then that's. The cards pretty much tell you what to do, and that makes it less of a brain drain as far as taking the AI's turn. Sure, you got to memorize the steps, but it's not like you have to say, okay, if the player's here, then you go there, but you check this, then you go that. The cards really make that selection process pretty easy. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for watching, and for whatever you decide to play in the future, I hope that you have a great time. Take it easy, everybody.